I'm Michael Gum, and I'm the Director of Admissions. I'm going to be your presenter for tonight. This session is focused on helping you understand what does it take to come to Morehouse from the counselor's perspective. So we're going to talk a lot about the different themes as we present this information and a little bit more about Morehouse College. So by all means, take a pen, take a piece of paper, and get ready to jot everything down tonight as I'm your presenter for tonight on what it means to come to Morehouse and what does it take to be accepted into the university. So a little bit about this amazing place known as Morehouse College. So counselors, leaders, Morehouse has been around for over 150 years with the mission to develop men with disciplined minds who will lead lives of leadership and service. I'm a graduate of Morehouse College. I'm class of 2010. And one of the things that we want students to understand is that there's no other place that's going to graduate 400 plus predominantly African-American men each year. So Morehouse has a special mission and a focus to mold leaders through the liberal arts education, through a lens of having them understand where they are and where they're trying to go. So in a nutshell, we help students define themselves so that then they can redefine the world. So the topics covered in this session tonight. First, we're going to talk about this concept of a holistic review. We're going to get into the deadlines and dates that are upcoming or forthcoming, and as well as get into the nuts and bolts of what it is that we want students to be able to know. We're going to talk about applying for scholarships and the importance of applying for scholarships, what scholarships are available, which ones you need to know about, and then how important it is to find internal and external scholarships. And last but not least, we're going to cover all our 4 major divisions and the programs that just stick out a little bit as we talk about this amazing place known as Morehouse College. So first, Morehouse does a holistic review. So when we talk about a holistic review, we're referring to looking at all of what it takes to be accepted into the university. So how a student stands out through extracurricular activities, their recommendations that they have to submit, in which we require 2 of them, from a teacher or from the counselor, different things that make them stand out, right? What's special or what's things that we want to know more about you. So if you're an Eagle Scout, right, we want to know that. If you play chess, we want to know that. And then your unique experiences, if you travel across the country, if you've been places, if you've done things that most students don't typically do, we want to know about that. And then what ways in which are you politically focused? So do you find yourself being a part of civic engagement components, SGA, Student Government Association, taking up leadership as part of the Future Business Leadership of America, FBLA? Like, those are the things that we look for to help make our decision, right? And part of that is also important is the transcripts. And I think we're going to talk about that as well. Okay, so when we do a holistic review, you can see here, the strategy is designed to help institutions assess their preparedness and the fit of an applicant. So when we do a holistic review, we look at everything that makes a student stand out. We're looking for the things that students typically want to talk about in their essay, but also, do they have the rigor that it takes to be accepted into the university? So have they done AP courses? What is their GPA, right? And you can see here too, one of the biggest aspects is that when we do this holistic review, we're measuring that on a case-to-case basis. And upon our review, we also offer scholarships at that point. So we want to make sure that we're bringing in the right student that's going to make up the right class. So the GPA and test scores matter for us, but we have gone test optional. So you don't have to submit the test scores, but we'll talk more about that as well. So the benefits of a holistic review is that it takes into account many of the urban public schools that simply don't have the substantial resources to deliver adequate academic preparation to students. So when we're talking about the different schools students go to, some schools have resources, some don't. And some of the schools that you all work in or some of the schools you're plugged into, you know this, right? We understand your caseloads. You know, it depends. Some of you counselors, you have a lot of students you look at. That matters to us. And so for that, we care if a student goes to a public and private school, right? We want to consider the uniqueness of a student. And we want to promote a diverse student body where an applicant is not judged just on one quality, but a broader scale, right? And most importantly, it gives us, the admissions team, an idea of a student's workability and their work ethic. So adhering to our deadlines are critical. So here's our deadlines and dates. So first, we have these 4 categories: regular decision, early action, early decision, and then we kind of get into a rolling admissions. So first up is early decision. And through these, there's different time frames that you have to get your application in. And then there's different notification dates. So you'll see that come up soon. But the first 3 options have set deadlines, while rolling admissions allows for you to get that application in a little bit late. But you want to consider, if you want to be considered for scholarships, we tell our students, you really want to focus on that early action and early decision criteria. Regular decision, if you need a little bit more time, but the focus of early action, early decision is really where you want to be. But we'll talk more into that as well. So first, understanding early decision. When preparing to apply, students must carefully research each school's policy. Early decision is pretty much the top school that you're deciding to go to. You're really saying that this school is the one I want to be in. And what we tell our students is that if you apply early decision, there's normally some binding contractual agreement that goes with that decision, where you say, you know what, I want Morehouse wants me, and Morehouse is willing to bank on me like I'm willing to bank on them. And so early decision notifications, the early decision deadlines, those are typically the top of the top students that are applying to university that believe that they could be accepted into the university. And it's the college saying, you know what, we want you, we see that you're serious, and we want to ensure that you have your application considered for some of the top dollars. And so for our period and our understanding of early decision, it's a big thing for us. It's a really big indication for us. So as we talk about these are our notifications. So take a screenshot, take a picture of this. It's going to be really, really important to talk about this. One of the things that we talk about with early decision, early action, and regular decision is that you have to know the notifications and you have to know the notification dates. So first, our deadlines are as such. Early decision, you have to have an application in by November 1, and then we will make a decision or release decision on December the 5th. The key with early decision is that majority of our students that apply early decision, they're going to know right then and there if their scholarship dollars applicable. If a student is applying early decision and they're deferred, they're not being denied. So they'll have an opportunity again to showcase a better application. So for our early decision, it's not financial aid, which we're going to get into. Okay. All right. So early decision, and hopefully everybody can hear me. Early decision is the ideal option for students who have Morehouse as their first and only choice. Again, we talked about this. Early decision plans are binding. A student accepted as an ED applicant must attend the college. Very important. I'll read that again. A student who applies and is admitted must attend the college, right? Unless there was some circumstances that we need to be aware of, but typically it's binding. Students' accepted rates are typically higher than the regular decision. So again, we're looking at students that want to be at the college, and us reviewing them allows for us to be able to determine that, yes, they're a good fit. During the ED admissions plan, applicants agreed to withdraw applications at other colleges and plan to enroll at Morehouse if admitted. So again, we are really harping on that part. And some of you all have students that have applied ED, which is great. So we're already past that deadline. So the next one's going to be early action. So other pieces of or tips and tricks with nailing the deadlines and making sure we're staying on track, on task, is have a system to keep careful track of all deadlines. So that picture that I sent to you all, or that you all just showed, or that we just displayed, you want to know what our deadlines and dates are. You can actually find them on our website, which is very critical as well. Our application deadlines are set, and they generally come first served, right? So you have to make sure you stick to those deadlines. You have to adhere to those. Private scholarships, enrollment deposit, housing deposits, the bill payment, there's all deadlines to this enrollment process, as some of you all are familiar with. So sticking to the deadlines and nailing them, it's really, really critical. So we encourage your students to use a paper calendar, to use a spreadsheet, right? Whatever mechanism that they need to be detail oriented, they need to keep track of where they are. Help them find tools to stay connected to the deadlines and support. Note that some deadlines may refer to submission, postmark dates, while others refer to receipt dates. So that's really, really important, because sometimes it might say release decision on December the 5th. Well, is that December the 5th by a certain time frame? Are you saying that to be December the 4th at 11:59? Those are the kinds of things that it's important that you're very well aware of, that we have to make sure that you know, but that you try to pivot here a little bit. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And actually kicked me out from being able to show my video. So if we could get that back on, that would be great. Sorry, you all. I guess I'm having some technical difficulties. But we're going to still get this information to you. So knowing a school's deadline, thank you so much. So we want our students to complete their application, to complete the requirements, to do what's necessary. So please, please, please stick to the deadlines that you see here. Okay, so the benefits of applying early: it reduces stress by cutting the time spent waiting for a decision. You save time and expense of submitting multiple applications. You gain more time once accepted. You gain more time, right? And then you also are able to reassess different options. If it doesn't work out, you can still kind of pivot. If you wait to the last minute, it's never a good sign. So the next critical piece we want to talk about is financial aid and scholarships. Now, you all know this as counselors. Scholarships are types of aids that do not require repayment, right? We're going to talk about grants, we're going to talk about loans, but this is their opportunity to get someone else, or a company or organization, right? A geographical location, a department, a community involvement, these different areas that offer support, where students do not have to worry about paying this money back. And they can get up to millions of dollars in scholarships if they apply themselves appropriately. So what I want you all to know is that there's the Morehouse College Academic Award, known as the MCOT Award, which is a tuition discount that's available for first-time freshmen only. So that's really, really critical, because that's the scholarship that we offer as a tuition discount for first-time freshmen during our early action, early decision, and regular decision pools. So when a student applies, they are considered at that time of review for the MCOT Award. Okay, if they did not receive that award, they will know. Okay, but if they received it, they'll be indicated within their letter that they received it based upon their acceptance. So these are the top 4 major scholarships. So please write this down, because these are applicable here at Morehouse College. The United Negro College Fund is a huge opportunity to log in and to get scholarships for your students. Thurgood Marshall College Fund, another amazing opportunity. And then you have community-based organizations, sororities, and fraternities. So these are the major scholarships that come in that we're finding students being able to find externally. So sororities and fraternities, community-based organizations, Thurgood Marshall, and United Negro College Fund, which I want to plug that the president of UNCF is a Morehouse man, meaning he's a graduate of the college. So the key for applying for scholarships at Morehouse is you have to be eligible for scholarships. Student must be newly admitted or currently enrolled at Morehouse. They have to meet the criteria established by the scholarship donors. Very critical, because these donors offer endowment scholarships. So you want to be connected. You must maintain a GPA, community service hours, or meet other conditions necessary for those scholarships as well. And then you must submit all required documents pertaining to those scholarships and those expectations. Students are also very strongly encouraged to complete the free application for federal student aid, which I do understand is on hold right now. And I hope you all are communicating with your students as best as you can. But we'll talk a little bit about FAFSA in this presentation as well. So what are college grants? College grants are financial aid awards that do not need to be repaid. So these are like government funds, right? These are opportunities where students are able to get federal, state government, private organizations, and donors come together and they give money to students, right? Many college grants are need-based and are awarded based on your family's economic situation. So this is why the grants that students are typically able to see really kind of come out in January and February, is because they're kind of have to see what that free application, or what we're calling now the student aid index, is, right? And this is the language of student aid index used to be the expected family contribution. So these are the top 4 federal and state grants. You can also find this on our website. It's the Pell Grant. You'll hear about the FSEOG grants, the Georgia Hope Scholarship Grant, and the Georgia Tuition Equalization Grant. These grants are very critical for our students, and we want to make sure that we're making Georgia students aware of the grants that they can earn. And I heard there might be an increase on the Georgia Hope Scholarship. So I'm thinking that's coming based on some presentations I heard. So what is new? What's coming? What's changing? First, the 24-25 FAFSA, which used to be open, and an opportunity used to be that students and parents were able to get in and actually fill that information out in October, is now going to be available in December. Huge difference, right? What has changed is that there's a reduced number of questions. There's automatic transfer to IRS data, so you don't have to do the data retrieval tool the same way you did before. They're saying there's going to be an increased aid eligibility for single parents. And then there's a new federal Pell Grant formula. So these are the things you have to look forward to and make your parents and students aware of. So what I want to talk about next is the difference between internal and external scholarships. So first, as it relates to internal or institutional scholarships, they're given within and by the institution, right? These are the ones that Morehouse controls. So institutional scholarships are awarded by Morehouse to help offset a student's cost to attend the institution. When completing Morehouse's financial aid application process, students are automatically considered for all scholarships and grants. So as soon as they apply, they'll be considered. We also offer scholarships throughout the process. So if a student does not hear about a scholarship in January, don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. It means that we're trying to indicate if the student might fit the criteria for other scholarships that might lay themselves out later down the road. What students want to do is to keep track institutionally of where they are in our process, as well as to continue to check their emails to see if they're receiving the additional scholarships. It'll come through their email. Okay. So the second part to this is that there's criteria for these scholarships vary, right? The Office of Scholarships or Financial Aid will match candidates from the overall pool of financial aid applicants. So it's very important to know that the scholarships that are rendered and that are given out, that we do an auto match for our students. So as soon as they've applied and they've been accepted and they're given that potential, that Morehouse College Academic Award that we talked about, we will then auto match those students to the internal or institutional scholarships that we offer, which then would happen in a time frame between January and February. So those students will then be informed or alerted if they're receiving the scholarship, that they actually are reciprocating or actually receiving the scholarship, that then we would be able to award them at that time. So it's really, really important to know that first year students are limited to receiving institutional scholarships for the first 8 terms of their full-time enrollment. So the focus there is that those scholarships are only good for 4 years. Outside of the fourth year, it get a little daunting. So a lot of our donors, they're very specific about when they want to give it out, who gets it, and those are the things that we want to make sure our students are aware of, that they have 4 years at the university. During an academic year, scholarships are generally awarded for 2 semesters, and that breaks that down: fall, spring. Summer is occasionally, but they normally don't give out scholarships during the summer, but they can earn credits during the summer. A transfer student is limited, right? Depending on the number of hours, certain students might find themselves receiving scholarships. So internal scholarships, those again will be auto-matched with the student. The top 4 internal scholarships, and you all definitely want to know these. The Michael Lomax Scholarship, which actually offers in the range of right at $50,000 a year. So it's the cost of tuition and some room and board. The Bonners Community Service Scholarship, also another full opportunity for students. And then you have the Morgan Stanley Scholarship, as well as the Oprah Winfrey Scholarship. These are amazing scholarships for our students that we want them to be aware of. So the external scholarships that we offer do not involve Morehouse. Again, these are outside of Morehouse College. So these are any additional scholarships that they can receive. So they may want to look at different clubs and organizations, civic organizations like Rotary, like the Kiwanis Club or the Lions Club, different religious groups, the fraternities and sororities, as mentioned it before, right? We want our students to be plugged in, and you want to give them a list of all the various types of external scholarships that they can receive, because that's only going to help them in the long run to offset the cost of tuition and fees. So the top 3 external scholarships that we've seen at Morehouse College, the first one's the Gates Millennium Scholarship. So a lot of people don't know about this one. It's a hard deadline on this. So please tell students, apply by the deadline, because anybody outside of that, they're not going to get it. This one actually, the Gates Scholarship, and you can look it up. It would award from your 4 years at Morehouse to your master's degree to your doctoral degrees. It used to be a full ride, full-fledged opportunity to higher education. I don't know if it's still that way, so look it up. I heard there's some changes to that, so you want to definitely get your students there. The Alumni Chapter Scholarship. So our alumni are a huge part of Morehouse College, and each chapter in your specific area typically has a scholarship that they award. It could be $1,000, or it could be like our Boston chapter, which gets all the way up to about $5,000 to $10,000 that they award to students. And then we offer state and regional programs have scholarships as well. So definitely don't sleep on external scholarships. You want to push your students there. So finding external scholarships, these are resources that you want to make yourself familiar with and you want to share with your student populations. FastWeb, niche.com, and Niche is totally awesome because it has a whole rating system. A College Board Scholarship Search, and we're partners with pretty much most of these. CapX, which is an awesome opportunity to find scholarships. And of course, scholarships.com, been around for years, and students are able to find scholarships through these resources. So external scholarship requirements, I want to just highlight that bolded red, that we will adjust. And when I say we, I mean the Office of Financial Aid at Morehouse College and the Office of Student Financial Services will have to adjust the students' financial aid if they're receiving external scholarships where those scholarships meet the cost of attendance. So it's very important to know that federal law requires that all resources are considered when determining eligibility and awarding financial aid. That if a student is an RA, as well as they're receiving external scholarships and they're receiving an institutional scholarship, that institutional scholarship can be adjusted so that the external scholarship fits that category. So having external scholarships is the best route to go into. External scholarships have varying requirements and deadlines, so know that. And students should review their application information carefully and contact the external scholarship donor directly. Some of those external scholarships and donors will find themselves submitting a check directly to Morehouse College, and there'll need to be a proof of an acceptance letter. You need to make sure you know what those criteria are. Okay, so the importance of external scholarships, 3 main points. College tuition is on a steady increase. We just increased ours. Institutions are limited by the number of institutional aid. There's only so much money institutionally that we offer. So it's so important that students are able to meet the gap if they choose to go to Morehouse, that they find and apply for external scholarships. There it is, to close the gap by decreasing or eliminating loan amounts. You'll find that loans are about a good approximately 85% of our students, and well, more than that, probably it's like 90% of our students find themselves having to take out some type of loan to attend Morehouse College approximately. So it's going to be really important that to reduce that loan amount so that they're not having to pay back so much money, that the external scholarships can be used to substitute that loan cost. Very, very important. And then external scholarships allow students to do a lot of different things, to be in the driver's seat and to drive that point home. They're not relying on the institution to provide funding. Okay, so this gets us to our majors and programs that we offer here at Morehouse College. So some of our top majors, some of our top programs are such. First, the Division of Business and Economics. Amazing, right? The Division of Business offers 4 concentrations of marketing, accounting, finance, and management. It's accredited by 4 different accredited agencies, which is phenomenal. The mission of the Division of Business is right there: to develop intellectual capacity and skills, advance knowledge, right? Foster leadership. I mean, the business division actually sets up shop and allows for different companies to come recruit Morehouse students early. Morehouse has an amazing record of developing some of the best leaders through the business department. And so you can see it there: Fortune 500 corporations, entrepreneurs. Our students become government agents, and then they work for a lot of nonprofit organizations. In addition, they often attend prestigious graduate schools, right? Like the University of Chicago, Harvard Law School, and Columbia. There's so many different opportunities to be a business major. And coming to Morehouse, you definitely want to plug in because you have alumni that work for these companies too. So here's some highlights, right? So first, Morehouse is the #1 producer of Black male graduates in business, administration, management, and operations. That's huge. And then as in diverse issues in higher education, this report was given in 2021. Another plug that I want to make sure you all know about business, which is really important, is that Morehouse sends the most African-American men into Harvard Business School and Harvard Law School. So when it comes to business, the top companies, again, the top opportunities are with us. And our Morehouse Business Association is phenomenal in setting our students up for success. So the next major, or the next division, is Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. This STEM division is totally awesome because we get a lot of funding through the STEM program. There's a lot of research, and Morehouse really is a research-based style institution. Students find careers in advanced studies in biology, chemistry, computer science, engineering, mathematics, physics, psychology, and the health professions. And highlights are as such. 1, Morehouse is the number 1 producer of Black male graduates in mathematics among HBCUs. We could just stop there because that's huge, right? That's huge. Morehouse is the #1 producer of Black male graduates in physical sciences amongst HBCUs. And then Morehouse is the #1 producer of Black male graduates in statistics amongst HBCUs. So our STEM program is phenomenal. In that division too, and I want to point that out, is our dual degree engineering program, where students can do 3 years at Morehouse and then 2 years at an engineering school of their choice. So Dartmouth, MIT, Georgia Tech, North Carolina A&T, all on the list. All on the list. And students really find themselves going to Georgia Tech because it's close. So they really enjoy that atmosphere and that opportunity to be in that sort of 3-2 program where they can still graduate with their friends in the local Georgia area, but yet go ahead and continue getting their degree in that STEM related field. And I want to plug one more thing. What's really cool is that C.D. Moody is a graduate of Morehouse College, and he constructed the Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Atlanta Falcons play football. He constructed our Morehouse College campus leadership building, actually where the business department is. So he actually architected that whole infrastructure, as well as the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport on the North Terminal. So when you talk about engineering, it's a huge aspect of Morehouse College in our STEM field. And then last but not least, I was a philosophy major, so this is my division. Humanities, social science, media, and arts. It's the mind, it's the thinking, it's the idea that liberal arts all seem into one. And you can see it right there. To have a transformative college experience, to be successful in a broad array of fields upon completion, and to make impactful contributions to their communities and the world. So our humanities division is awesome. Morehouse is #1 producer of Black male graduates in social sciences amongst U.S. colleges. #1 producer of Black male graduates in English, foreign language, philosophy, yes, and religious studies amongst HBCUs. So these are the highlights of Morehouse. 4 divisions, amazing opportunities. So the last but not least is the professional continuing studies division. So our Morehouse Online program, our education program, our kinesiology program is all here. The division provides academic and support services for students affiliated with the Morehouse Online, where we have articulation agreements, we have certificate programs, and we also offer dual enrollment. It offers a unique program that allows students to benefit from a curriculum using knowledge acquired in traditional and non-traditional formats. So what does it mean when we talk about learning beyond just the classroom? Well, Morehouse offers the metaverse. And in the metaverse experience, they literally put on these Oculus glasses and they're able to experience what does it mean to be a part of the Middle Passage or to be a part of the Atlantic slave trade and what that looked like in their history class. So they can actually see the slave ships. It's really awesome. Our experience and our history and our college is moving to a place where we can start to offer a different array of abilities to see Morehouse in different lenses to offer our students the very best. So our main highlight is that Morehouse has the #1 bachelor's degree amongst HBCUs in Georgia. So a lot of our students, we encourage them to also go into the education arena to teach, because Morehouse's bachelor's degree is phenomenal. And I believe I've recently heard a rating in our career service department that somewhere in the range between, I think it was like in the high 70s, low 80s% of our students that graduate Morehouse College within 4 years find themselves actually making at least $70,000 plus a year. And they also get a chance to go into their professional studies past Morehouse College into a terminal degree of getting their doctorate or PhD or finding themselves working for a top company. And so there's ways to track that, and that data can also be found on our Morehouse website under Career Engagement Department. So let's open it up. Ask your questions. I hope this was very informative. There's so much that Morehouse has to offer. Are women able to attend Morehouse? No. So Morehouse is an all-male institution. We are a top feeder school for graduate schools. I meant to mention that, so I apologize. Yes, we are an all-male school. But what's really beautiful about Morehouse is that you could cross-register. So you could take classes at Spelman College. You can take classes at Clark Lane University for free. So we like to say that we're all male by definition, not by experience. So you have this ability to cross-register to the ARCH program, which includes Georgia State, Georgia Tech, University of Georgia, Adnan Scott College. It's really a major Georgia school. Students are able to go to those schools as long as they get the document filled out to be able to go and take classes at the other schools for free as a student. Great question. I think we have another question in here, or some of the things that I definitely want to make mention. So one of the things that I want to make sure we talk about is more about the scholarships. So one of the things that I want you all to know is that, as a counselor, you get different students. You get different students that might have a certain GPA range where, they might not have what you believe Morehouse is required, where our average GPA is a 3.7. And sometimes, you might feel that student is not accessible to be able to attend. One of the things that we look at in that holistic review is what does it mean to come to Morehouse, but what does it mean to stand out at Morehouse College? And so for us, it's big. It's a humongous thing to look at an overall focus on a student, because we don't believe a GPA by itself makes you who you are. So we look at our extracurricular activities to offset that GPA. We might look at letters of recommendation to offset that GPA. Those things really matter in terms of what we look for in a student. Not everybody comes in with the best GPA, right? So the required GPA is right at a 3.0, I would say. But again, there's no direct requirement for a GPA. Our average GPA is a 3.7 at Morehouse. But we look at everything. And then what is required GPA for test optional? So it depends. It depends. Typically, because we go on test optional, we like to look at rigor. So like AP courses, if students are IB or IA courses, if students have done dual enrollment, those are the things that help offset what we can do in terms of accepting a student. Great question. What are some strong ways to show a student's exemplary qualifications that might not show in GPA? Yeah, good question. So some of the things that we tend to look at, especially considering what high school they might come from, what might not be a top tier school. Ooh, good question. So it depends, right? So let's say, for instance, a student goes to a public school and they don't have the adequate resources. We tend to look at, what else did that student have going on? Sometimes we try to read through the application to see, did this student have a certain type of upbringing? Did this student, stand out in a certain way? Did this student have limitations that we are not seeing, that we're not aware of? We might reach back out to you to get more resources. And so we've contacted counselors, right? Hopefully this shows through their personal essay. Hopefully their stories will show through their letters of recommendation. But we tend to assess all those things because it's not just a GPA band that we're looking at. In a holistic review, we're looking at everything. So to see in an environment like Morehouse, we want students to put their very best effort. And we will inform you in the nicest way that Morehouse might not be for you. So we're very honest with our students as it relates to that, but we also want to counsel them. And you can set up an appointment to do that with our admissions counselors, with our recruiters in the office. And we can discuss what that means and what that looks like. Good question. Who should I contact to schedule a group tour? Yes. Us, admissions at morehouse.edu. You can also go on our Morehouse website. You can schedule a tour right there. We want you to come to campus. We want you to see, kick the dirt, see the players. We just had an amazing open house. We are going to have a virtual open house coming soon as well. We're inviting you all to that, which will be in December. And so we'll get the dates and plug everything there for you all. But it's going to be on a Saturday. It's going to be an awesome opportunity. We want our students and our colleagues and our partners to come to the campus because you really have to see what it's like to be at Morehouse. Student ambassadors conduct the tours, which is fantastic. And so we want you to get a full experience of Morehouse, which is really important. Does Morehouse recruit for various athletic programs? Football, soccer, track? Yes. Football, basketball, track, cross country, golf, lacrosse, tennis, a polo team, a rugby team. I mean, we have it. So it's really important, really important that you touch base with us because those are sometimes the departments offer talent-based scholarships. And there's also additional scholarships that they might be able to get through restricted funds that can also offset the cost. So it's important to definitely get in contact with the coach. Typically, coaches want to see a student that's been accepted first before they are just allowing the student to just be admitted to the university. So that's really, really big. And so great question there. Are there any videos and simplified step-by-step application process for NROTC program and a scholarship for those in the NROTC program? Yes, there are videos. There's information that is out on our website at morehouse.edu. Our ROTC program is awesome. We offer the 3 from Army, Navy, and Air Force, and we are part of that cotillion or battalion with Georgia State, Georgia Tech, Clark Atlanta University, Spelman College, and I believe Morris Brown College now too. But those institutions are all connected, and so the ROTC program typically is on the campus at Georgia State, but they do utilize the other campuses for their drill and for other expectations. But contact our morehouse.edu and then look at and search ROTC, and you can see all the information from there. Great question. Let's see. I want to make sure we get to all your questions. Okay, yep, I see them in here. Great. How can I connect with a recruiter or alumni chapter in Dallas, Texas? Man, we have some people. So first, I'm going to drop some names. So you want to get connected with Aubrey Hooper out in the Texas area, in Dallas area, because he used to be the superintendent in the DeSoto area. We can definitely connect you. I'll be your connection for that. So I'm going to make sure you have my email address, which should come up on the next slide as well. But I'm going to drop it in here so you can reach out to me. The Morehouse alumni chapter is totally awesome. And we'll make sure that that gets forwarded as well. But it's totally awesome. Our alumni are very, very involved. They do a lot for us. You might see them at the college fairs. They have a send-off at the end of the year for the students. So, there's a way to connect the students to the alumni. And they also, again, offer scholarships. So you definitely want to do that. So Dallas area is a big recruitment area for us. So we have sent our recruiters to the Dallas area, DeSoto area, Dallas Fort Worth area. One of the major individuals that I want to connect you with that recently I met with is Curtis Valentine in the DC area, but he's connected in the Texas area as well. So we can definitely connect you with those individuals. Let's see. Are males of diverse ethnicities able to attend Morehouse? Yes. Yes. The criteria is that as long as you identify as a male, you are able to attend Morehouse College. Great question. Let's see. I know the volleyball team is fairly new. Are there any talent-based scholarships available for the sport? Yes, the volleyball team is very new. There are talent-based scholarships, but you want to reach out to our athletic director. His name is Harold Ellis to determine some of that information, as well as with our athletic coaches that are available. So you want to make sure that you know what they have in their arsenal and what they're able to support. Very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. Very.
Just 1 second, you guys. I believe his baby came over, so I apologize for the hold there.
Okay, sorry. Family time.
Okay.
So that's very, very important. If you apply for early action within the early decision timeline, yeah, we all have families and dogs, yes. If you apply for early action within the early decision timeline, is it possible for you to receive notification on or before December 5th? Yes. If you apply for early action within the early decision time, it's possible for you to receive a notification on or before December 5th. So no, it's going to be after December 5th. It's going to be definitely after December 5th. But just know we're going to try to get our notifications out of early action in the month of November. Okay. That's going to be really important as we kind of release. So November 1st, our deadline, we try to adhere to our deadlines. Early decision, the idea is to do it by December the 5th. And then from there, our early action applicants, that deadline is January 1st. Now, we are trying to inform our students a little bit earlier than that, as much as we possibly can in terms of notifying them a little bit before February 1st. But it's going to be important that you all know that we're doing all that we possibly can. Okay. Great question. Let's see here. Should I be working with my students on their application now before the FAFSA is available? Yes. What are the advantages of doing the app now and waiting? Y'all, please, counselors, please have your students apply. I know the FAFSA and financial aid is something that can be kind of daunting and that we might be waiting. Don't wait, apply. Why? Because they have time and we're not going to penalize them. We understand what's going on. We understand they're making changes in the FAFSA, but the application is open now. Tell your students it's okay to apply. Don't hold them back because of the FAFSA. Why? Because I believe when we get to January and February, it's going to be so many students that are then going to know their index and know where they are, that technically if the application pieces are there, they still have enough time to catch up to be considered for scholarship dollars. So we want to make sure that, there's that in between or that back and forth. And that they're very much aware of what those scholarship dollars are able to give. They can lose out on scholarships by waiting. I say it again, they could lose out on scholarships by waiting. So have them apply. Let them know to be patient. And as the government works everything out, Morehouse tries to be ahead every single time. So please, please, please don't wait to the last minute. And thank you all for your flexibility as well on this call. I'm looking at other questions. Let's see here. Are there in-person meetings for counselors? Yes. So one of the things that's very important that you all know is that our recruitment team have availability where they have designated hours to sit down and talk with you. So one of the things I want you to know, every recruiter has a designated area or a territory. And based on their territory, they can sit down with you, they can talk with you, they can have virtual sessions with you, and they can meet with you to discuss what is it that takes the students to be eligible to attend the university. And they can talk to you about what are the types of students that come into Morehouse College and what is it that we look for. So set up an appointment with our recruiter. Find your recruiter and set up an appointment with them and allow him or her to engage with you in the right manner. I also have appointments, so that's going to be important. Are we on slate.org? Yes. So slate.org is an amazing resource. What we want you all to do is to visit slate.org, because some of you all have to upload transcripts. Some of you all want to upload letters of recommendation. And then you kind of want to find out, did Morehouse receive it? Well, guess what? Now through slate.org, you're able to log in, see it, and be able to choose it and pick it and find out, oh, he's missing this. Oh, he's missing that. So we want you to be connected with us. So slate.org is an amazing resource that we want you to be very well aware. And colleges are using these resources to do that. So we definitely want you to do that. Other things that I want to discuss too, not to mention this in the presentation, but Crown Forum is an amazing session that we offer for students. And it's a session that you all might want to come to too, where you get a chance to see different presenters, different individuals, different speakers that come on Thursdays at 11 o'clock and engage with our student body and inform them to be the leaders that they are, to encourage them to go and fight for more, to think about those injustices, and to have a bigger understanding and a desire to not only worry about themselves getting through education or getting through Morehouse, but to look back and to assist others. That's really, really important. What I want you all to definitely connect to is that our Crown Forum has different speakers such as Cornel West. Jimmy Carter has come to speak to students. I mean, it's a world-renowned opportunity to really engage with our student population. We would love for you all to be there. I saw a question come up that was discussing, is there another open house? Yes, before your next deadline or your next last deadline. So the next deadline is early action. What we want to do is to get you to plug in to our open house. That's going to be on Saturday, December the 9th. What I want you all to do is to register for that event. You will see it come up. We want to make sure that you all register so that you can see what we have. We have a virtual open house for you all. You'll be able to engage. You'll be able to hear the different programs more in depth. You'll be able to get questions answered through a live Q&A. And there'll be some pre-recordings that you want to tap into. So it's nice because you can be able to review these and look back over. Our admissions department and our Office of Strategic Marketing Communications do an amazing job with showcasing our institution and the broad perspective. What we want to do also is to kind of bring you in, right? We want you to partner with us. We want you to engage with us. We want you to be connected with us so that we can showcase our institution as the very best. And you don't have to decipher, should I send a student to Morehouse? It would be something where you know you should send your son to Morehouse or send your student to Morehouse because they're sons, right? So we want to connect with you. I say that to say I want to definitely answer any more last questions. Let's see. What we'll do is make sure you all know what's next. Early action is next, and then regular decision following that, and then we move into rolling admissions. Doesn't matter if a student applies on the Common App or your website. Thank you. So with the Common Application, you all are probably more familiar with that, which is phenomenal. And that's fine by all means. But with the Morehouse application, it's a little bit of a lower fee. So instead of paying the $50, which they would do in the Common App, they would pay the $30 application fee at Morehouse College. They can do the letters of recommendation the same way that they would do before, where they're getting a counselor to upload those. Transcript will be the same way, where you as the counselor would send their transcript to Morehouse College, which is great. But it's going to be targeted specifically for those students. And so we want to make sure that they get engaged appropriately. And so we want to make sure you all connect with us and do that as well. One of the things we definitely want to mention, and I think I mentioned this earlier too, is that for our Georgia students, it is free application month. Free application month. So this month, please take advantage of telling your students to apply to Morehouse College. They can apply through the Morehouse website or Morehouse application only. They cannot take advantage of the free application month utilizing Common Application or the Common App. They have to use the Morehouse application. So please have your students do that so that we can ensure that they have what they need. If they go and they take advantage of this, right, they could keep that $30 in their pocket. They're able to make sure that everything is submitted. And as long as their application is submitted, we will honor that. We will honor that. So by all means, encourage your students to engage now. Don't wait. Tell them now to apply so we can be set to go. Other things I didn't mention, and I'll plug me in a little bit here, is I'm a graduate of Morehouse College, as I already mentioned. I have a twin brother that graduated with me, and I have an older brother who's class of 04. What I want you all to know is that when you come into Morehouse College, you're engaged in a way where you're meant to be a leader. And so, you have your students that are leaders. They need to be applying to our university. They need to be considering Morehouse College. So we definitely want that to happen. What is the typical GPA and profile of a Morehouse student? So the average GPA or the typical GPA that we see is in that range between a 3.5 to a 3.7. So that's our average. And then the typical Morehouse student is going to have at least 4 AP courses that they took, or at least 2 to 3 that they've kind of earned before their senior year. Typically, they would find themselves being at least a part of 4 different extracurricular activities or organizations on campus where they held some type of leadership role. And we typically see students that have impeccable letters of recommendation that talk about their character. Those are the 4 main pieces that we look at for a student in terms of their profile, in terms of what we weigh. Things that help set them apart: if they were part of the National Honor Society, if they traveled abroad or studied abroad, if they worked, beyond different components. Those are the things that we look for, and that's what we need. But we need your help more than ever to be able to connect to these students. So we definitely want that to do that for you. Do you do virtual info sessions? Yes. We want you to plug in with us. You can find our information on the Morehouse website. You go to Morehouse.edu under the admissions tab. And yes, we will do a virtual session just for your students. You can, have 50 of them in a room. We're ready. We plug in, and that's an easy way to connect us to them so that we can then also talk about what scholarships they could be applicable for. And if they're in your pipeline, we want to know who they are. Last but not least, we do a counselor symposium, which is really, really important. So we just had one that went off very well in the first week of October. We had over 70 plus counselors that were there presently with us. And we want you to be our partner. We want to connect with you. We want to tell you everything we got going on. So please come. We're doing a counselor symposium that's going to be virtual as well. So we'll send you the dates for that. We want to connect with you. We want you to engage with us. And we want you to know that we care, that we're here, and that we're here to support you as you think about this college, as you think about the best institution to send the top male leaders to your university or to a college. So Morehouse is special. I hope you all get a chance to plug in and connect with us. I appreciate your time, and I thank you so very much for everything that you all do to connect and be the connectors to getting your students to college in some way. We really can't do this without you all. So I just really appreciate your time. You can connect with me, and you'll see my information, I believe, in the next slide. By all means, if you have questions, I'm Michael Gum, Director of Admissions. Plug with me, connect with me. And like I tell my students, stick with me so I can stick with you. So you can remember my last name very easily. So right there, you can contact us. Thank you so, so very much. I'll leave you with the words that I leave with students all the time, that the tragedy lies not in reaching your goal. The tragedy lies in having no goals to reach for. Not failure, but low aim is sin. By all means, please, please, please apply. And we look forward to seeing your students. Thank you so much.